Welcome back, my gardening friends. Well, I thought I'd let you know what I'm thinking about doing over the winter months to improve my growing spaces. So as we move into plot one and what I call the cabbage cage, this has been a really great asset. I used old timbers to support the soil, which have now had their day. So I'm going to be clearing all this up. A lot of this has just been or had added mulching, so there's going to be a lot of good soil here, and I'm going to run a length of pallet collars all the way down here, but where before I only had the footpath to the right, I'm going to try and get access from both sides. These poles on the left hand side can be pushed up in the air to give me a little bit more headroom. We've harvested one red cabbage, there's one more down there, and a green cabbage. They were giants, they didn't do very well, but they're edible, we're not going to waste. So this is one of the little jobs I'll be doing, and it'll probably be one of the first jobs, he says. All the thick polycarbonate I need to cut to the size of a pallet collar. I cut one or two different sizes, some to cover the blue barrels to stop the water getting in, etc. And I think now I'm happy enough to say they'd be more useful on top of the pallet collars to give to help warm the soil up, etc. and protect the beds for a short while. So I need to get that little job done. The blackberries and autumn raspberries, they'll be sorted out between Christmas and New Year. The skip vines, etc., keep building up. The hose pipe will be used for the siphoning system where needed. I do need some more. They're only short lengths, but they're probably long enough for me. I'll get them straightened out so the sunshine, if we get any, will just help straighten them out a little bit. So at the minute they're all curled up, and you'll never get a decent siphoning system with that. And these polycarbonate sheets that we've got scattered all on this left hand side will be fitted to that structure there. So at the moment to the left we've got the manure, and to the right, but on the right hand side as we look, that's where I'm going to be depositing all my sheep's wool that we've not yet used. I've still got another 2 bags to go and collect, hopefully next week, and it's building up. I'm able to reuse it, and then once it starts breaking down I can start burying it in the beds, which I'll probably do in the cabbage cage. It is still my intention, he says, that I will not remove those raspberries until the newly transplanted raspberries have fully matured. I don't want the risk of not having any raspberries. But this bed has done well. It's given me a few carrots and parsnips, which have been really nice. Even though it's full of manure, we have had some fork. But at the end of the day, we've got to fill our open spaces with something. The dahlias will be lifted. I might need some help with the dahlias. What do I do with these now? Can I cut them down, or do I need them to die off naturally? I'll lift the crowns, tubers, correct me, and then I'll be taking cuttings and then giving them separate beds so that I'll be able to give them a little bit more love than I have done while they're all mixed in together in these 2 beds. the last of the rhubarb is now dying back. We shouldn't really harvest rhubarb after or towards the end of July, so all those leaves take in all that energy to build those crowns so that we get a nice harvest the following year. I'll be tidying up everything. These haven't had manure now for a couple of years. Sometimes they have new wood chips, sometimes they have old wood chips. So this time I'm going to be giving them a nice little bit of manure. I told a little fib when I said I wasn't going to take a third Comfrey cutting, and we did, and now we've almost got 18 litres of Comfrey concentrate. Oh dear me. So we'll have more than enough to keep us going over the next couple of years. And note to myself, do not put all the bits that are in there into the compost bin, because I'll have Comfrey growing everywhere from the seeds, especially from the variety that does spread all over my allotment if I'm not careful. So this is one of the structures we're going to use that polycarbonate on. It's falling to pieces. All these blue barrels are in the way. So it will be challenging, but I do need to ensure I get this right so that all these blue barrels below the ones on the top that store my liquid black gold from the manure runoff runs into the barrels and keeps them well topped up. I will extend them out a little bit more just to catch a little bit more rain. The late tomatoes that we put in, they'll be coming out, and we'll salvage what we can. We can start thinking about finishing off keeping these beds covered in either the green manure, the sheep's wool there, or 2 bales from the straw bale gardening. I've shut the valve off on this so that it collects the moisture, just to help the Cape gooseberry plant that's now, after a long summer, decided to start growing. All these blue barrels on top are now full. We're almost at a full level on the ones below. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We've got 11 barrels on the bottom that are all at that level. So a few more showers should get us to this completely full. Then I can transfer the any of that surplus water over to here. But I have noticed those barrels are all tipping over because the wood chips underneath that I put them on are rotting away slowly. The gravity-fed Wick guttering system. So we've got a barrel here that's on a float system within the guttering. Those pots sit on top of the Correx. Wicks go into the pot and into the guttering, sucks up the moisture. But unfortunately, they have also sunk. So I need to redo all this so that it saves me a lot of watering and hassle, and the plants only take up what they need. Now we've had the grow tents or grow tent to this space to help with the whatever we grow here. It'll be strawberries, but my friends from Melif are sending me a long-handled mini chainsaw. I think I'm going to take a few more of these out to give me an extra bit of light just while I'm able. So that'll be something else I'll be doing. In February or March of 2026, this will be emptied. This is my worm bin. We'll empty it out, and then I'm going to move it completely closer to the fence and then rebuild all the hybridiculum I've got 2 fresh pallets under that plastic straw bale gardening dubrimmer flip, and we'll redo all this, and we'll put a new lid on this. It's a little bit heavy and it's soaking wet. Water's got in, going rotten. I want to make it easy for myself, and then we can ensure we collect enough water to top up all these tanks from the that's supplied by the guttering on the greenhouse and the compost wormery bin. Water is precious, as we found out this summer of 2025. We're mid-October at the moment. I've had this guttering sat on my allotment for a long time. I've now ordered 2 stop ends, which have cost me £10, and I'm going to run that the full length of this area. I'm going to put 2 blue barrels here, and I'm going to drip feed into that and plant the surplus strawberries that I've still got left. I'm leaving this open for my courgettes next year. And the strawberries seem a lot happier, but it's still a little bit dark under here. But we'll see. I'll just keep them going, get some strawberry runners, and then when the cabbage cage pallet collars have all settled, I can move them back into there. The autumn leaves have now started falling to a point where I can start collecting a few. I'll probably collect some tomorrow. To the left there is the leaves that have been now, it's 3 years. The ones in there I collected last year, so we collected 25 1-ton bags last year. And as you can see there, we had a year out, and as we all know, or most of you know, this is when Mrs. K was very, very poorly. We need to get our priorities right, obviously. But sometimes our body says yes, sometimes our body says no. I've got a mower, so I'm going to tip the leaves out in this area here, mow them up, and if I get time, I need to empty all the leaves out of there, move them over to there, but that obviously means I've got to move my cardboard. So I may just wait. I've got the access door there. We'll see. See what time we have. Time is very precious at the moment. Probably won't get a lot of time up here until around about late November, December, once I've got a lot of the jobs done on my garage at home. This is just wood chips. I've noticed that strawberry runners root down into wood chips really well. So there's at least 6 inches of wood chips in there. We'll see how they get on over next summer. We'll top this one up with a little layer of manure and then some of my homemade compost. For those that haven't seen it, this is how I collect the rainwater off my greenhouse. Sliced it into the hacksawed a couple of lines down the side of the guttering, folded it over, and then siliconed it up. And it's joined up to the other side, if that piece of wood doesn't fall out. My giant beetroot, I can get this out now. I've got all the seeds I need. This giant beetroot will sit here to collect the seed this time next year. It won't be long before I can take these off the carrots, and then I'll leave the seeds to dry out properly in the shed. But the mice have found my Minnesota melon seeds, so I'm taking most of my seeds home. It's the bottom of an RBC on my manure bin, and it's full again. It's overflowing into the ground, and the manure has sunk down and dragged that plastic. That plastic is actually what our compost comes delivered in, or wrapped, shall we say. And this has been in here quite a while, but it's the worms make a cracking job. we'll be popping some of that into those galvanised beds later on. Obviously, the further you go down, the further it gets compacted. But while the worms are on top, while they have the cardboard on top, they're very happy to keep working. Might even add some sheep's wool this year, once I've had all the manure out that I need. Topping up the beds, only a 30-minute job. Just a little bit of de-weeding, removing anything, and then we'll get these topped off. But they're nice little jobs to do when I do get a little bit of time spare. But I like to keep myself busy over the winter months. It gives me great satisfaction to see the allotment ready in the spring. I'll be in the fruit cage between Christmas and New Year to get everything pruned back, cut out all the old 3-year-old wood where necessary. The only thing in here that doesn't need attention is the summer fruiting raspberries, because that's already been done. The metal frames for the long beans, I don't have to do that straight away, but knowing me, I want to crack on with it to help with a better structure, to stop them falling down, he says. We started off on this plot with the scaffold planks, and I thought they'd last a lot longer than the pallet collars, but how wrong was I? So this whole bed is being removed. Any good planks that are left will be added to one of the other beds that's only 2 high to make it 3 high, and then we'll do the same as what we've done over there and run some more of these single height pallet collars out for the beans. I may even, he says, take these apart and make those just a little bit higher, 1 higher. Then all this here will be uniform. But little jobs that I can potter about on when the weather allows, and when my body allows as well. Talking of long beans, I didn't realise they were there. Oh, there's a spider down there, absolutely going mad. But this is a bean plant, must have fell off. I can see all my brassicas coming out. Horrendous. Maybe all the whitefly are gone. Don't think so. There's nothing growing in there. They'll make good compost. You have to smile, you mustn't cry. Concentrate on the successes and not the failures. While my volunteer courgettes keep growing, I'll keep harvesting. The volunteer tomato just starting to ripen, then the mice have found them. So I think I'm going to be clearing the beds. Green manure is definitely better as a mix. Looks more pleasing to the eye. I think I'm going to have to cover these. Somebody suggested sheep's wool, so maybe next time. The flowers on the radish and the lettuce look nice. Well worth leaving a few to go to seed. Because I've got 3 radish seed for next year now. Aren't autumn colours nice? Nice little backdrop just to finish off. But don't forget, keep checking out those skips for those skip vines, the polycarbonate sheets, hose pipe, anything that you might feel that will help you around your growing spaces. I've collected it all summer, so over the winter I'll try and reuse repurpose, and then what I don't use, I'll share to my fellow plot holders on our share site. So I'm looking forward to the leaf collection. Just going to do it nice and steady. We've got rain forecasts now from Sunday for a whole week. So those leaves are going to be wet. So I'm going to try and grab a dry bit in the morning if I can. We'll do some footage on that if we can. If not, it might be a little bit too dark. But when I get back from collecting the leaves, we'll go from there and we'll try this, not new mower, but a mower. It's got some gaffer tape on it to fill the holes. So I'm going to make sure I've got some safety gear on, guys. If you like the content, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down for the interaction. And leave me a comment. Give those comments a thumbs up if they're interesting. Read those comments. That's where I get all my knowledge from sharing, watching, reading. And why not consider subscribing? And if the hype button is available, please use it if you can. I'm not sure whether it does any good or not. But anyway, happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now.